Welcome back, Officers of the Republic. It's your course on Honorable Police Chief APGAINS. So Malicos has been kind of tested, and by kind of I mean very extensively tested by a lot of people. And we have some interesting takeaways early. Now, I want to have a quick caveat. Obviously, none of the Omicrons for characters that were fighting him/him have been active simply because Grand Arena is not around, obviously. So limited knowledge as to how effective this is going to be. This is going to kind of be like early Reva testing, where early Reva was like literally nothing beats this, except for like some really weird, wild, and wacky Ray comps. Without Datacrons, what can beat him is Malgus, but Malgus beats most stuff because of just the pure damage/control that team has. Plus, most people have him at super high relics at this point because of Leviathan. Gas, and that's kind of it. I think Arnold, while he was doing some testing, had some success with Jedi Knight Revan. Some people were telling me in Discord that CLS works. CLS doesn't even beat like the normal Seer team without Malicos with all the Datacrons applied, so I highly doubt that's going to work. It's looking like this will probably be a defensive backbone team. Now, whatever amalgamation of unaligned Force users with Seer, Junda, and Malicos that you guys put together is your prerogative. I don't think it's really the end of the world. Cal Kestis, Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum seem to be pretty common from what I've noticed in Grand Arenas, from the ones that I've fought and the ones that I've seen. I like Kylo Ren on Mass, kind of. He's thick. He's got stuns. He's kind of annoying. I think this team is very much going to play in the same vein that a Dash Scoundrel, like, prepared team is going to be. It's going to be like, there's good damage, yes, but it's more so just annoying and very much of that STD kind of team, sometimes difficult, where if you don't know exactly, like if you don't have your counter that you've practiced and you're going into the Grand Arena specifically ready to take this counter versus the common Malicos team, I think it's probably going to be pretty difficult once all of the Omicrons are activated for all of the characters. Now, that's not to say that if you save a Galactic Legend, you're going to struggle. I think Galactic Legends are probably still going to wipe the floor with this guy. We don't know for sure. I imagine there's probably going to be a couple of GL battles where when you take him on offense, you're going to get away with a win because, let's be honest, it's a lot easier to win on offense because the AI is not as smart as a player. You can do certain things. You can take in certain comps with certain mods in turn order to make sure that you can get the most out of a very specific matchup. But you have to be a little bit more generalist in your approach when you put a character on defense, and that's where I think he's probably going to end up for most people who have him. Obviously, I have a busy work life, and I was unable to do any conquest and absolutely didn't spend any money on it. So it's going to be a while before I actually have him, which is a little sad because he's going to be a pretty powerful defensive backbone team in my opinion. For those of you guys who are early game and mid game, well, I guess if you're early game and you don't have access to hard conquest and proving grounds, there's not really much you can do. If you're mid game, is this a character that I would absolutely worry about grinding out in the next 3 conquests / using your crystals and further conquest shards to get his, or further conquest, whatever the fuck they're called, to get his shards as they pop up? I'm going to be honest. I would say, depending on what your roster looks like, which is a little bit of a cop-out, but obviously the correct answer. Now, once our cube tool comes out and you can visualize what your roster looks like, is it too tall, is it too wide, it recommends teams that you can farm and stuff like that. We should have the alpha testing for Patreon members out soon. Once we have that, it'll be a lot easier for the average player to kind of go in, check, see like, oh, I'm a little bit too tall and I'm lacking defensive teams. I should probably pick up Malicos. He's a defensive backbone team. That's kind of obvious. But if we're going to do it manually with our big boy brains without using any pre-existing tools to help make decisions for us, I would say if you struggle defensively and you seem to have mostly an offensive focused roster, but what I mean by that is like you got 2 GLs, they're SLKR and C, and you don't have Malgus or like a Dash Scoundrel team or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you're not putting down strong defensive backbone teams. You don't have your Maul. Maybe you have a Star Killer, but you don't have like Malgus or Radis or even fucking Afro or Treya or something like that. Like if you're really struggling with the defensive backbone teams, I would imagine that it's probably a good idea to put a little bit of effort in if you're within a reasonable striking distance of Malicos, because I do think that he is going to be an incredibly powerful defensive backbone character. And on top of that, obviously, he's going to slot into the pyramid scheme of sadness, of success of sadness. And for those of you guys who are asking, we're going to have like a Galaxy of Heroes terminology video coming out at some point in the next week or so, because I know a lot of the concepts that I use, if you've never heard them before, won't make any sense. So I'll help you guys kind of figure all that stuff out. But fuck, what was I saying? Oh yeah, in the pyramid scheme of success of sadness of success, I mean, we're eventually going to pick up Sirjunda Cal Kestis for the big Cal unlock, post JML, post, you know, all that stuff to make that squad better. So we're already gonna have like the basis to apply Malicos. We're gonna have like the pre-built squad that's gonna go around him. So if we're in that striking range where we're farming for JML, or we've completed JML and we're doing some Cal work, I definitely think we're in range to where we should be heavily focused on Malicos. And I know that's do what I say is not as I do. Trust me, if I had the time / the brain cells, I would have grinded a little bit more in Conquest to make sure that I could have had him a little bit faster. That's on me. That's life. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to just being too busy in that respect, which is just whatever. I will probably not do the Conquest Pass for the next couple. I imagine I could maybe get him to 280, and then maybe with a couple of crystal purchases and stuff like that, get him up to that 330 in the next 3 months, potentially. If not, I'll be sad. I'll have to wait another Conquest for like him to come back into the store so I can use those resources to get a couple more shards of him and pick him up. But at that point, we'll have Beskar Gideon, and then I'll be doing the whole thing all over again, guys. I'll be like, I was too busy. I couldn't get Beskar Gideon. I'll have to get him in the second half of Conquest. And the cycle continues forever and ever and ever until APGAINS finally comes to peace with the fact that he will never have as much free time as he had when he was a full-time YouTuber, which is always sad. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about Malicos. If you've done any testing yourself, if you've watched any testing, you have any hot takes involving how cool his lightsabers are. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you. And, oh, wait, speaking of his cool lightsaber, if you guys want cool lightsabers, meow, I'm not going to turn it on because it's really loud and I would have a nerdgasm, and I don't want to get nerd splooge all over the camera. But if you want a lightsaber, link in the description. You can use code APGAINS. Well, it will automatically use code APGAINS. Get discounts. Feed APGAINS. Wow, influencer marketing, so powerful. Okay, bye-bye, guys. I love you. Bye-bye.